Hi, I'm Erwin at the Elk Grove Village Public Library with a quick review of a new to the library poetry book. Postcolonial Love Poem by Natalie Diaz was published in the spring of 2020. It is a National Book Award finalist and Diaz's second book of poems. Writing a quick review for Postcolonial Love Poem was like trying to crack a tough nut. As you might guess, much of the writing in the book feels polemic. Colonialism is heavy subject matter. And writing poetry that is polemic while also good at being creative writing is probably harder than it sounds, and it doesn't sound easy. It was helpful to start thinking about the book through its title. What is postcolonial in Postcolonial Love Poem? Here are some passages that might hint at some of it. From the poem, Manhattan is a Lenape word. She says, "You make me feel like lightning." I say, "I don't ever want to make you feel that white." Later, in the same poem, an American drone provides American touch and unbearable heat. Here is a great title for a prose poem. The first water is the body, and its first lines. The Colorado River is the most endangered river in the United States. Also, it is a part of my body. The poem goes on into some translation, from Mojave into English. Aha Makav means the river runs through the middle of our body, the same way it runs through the middle of our land. The poem continues. In American imaginations, the logic of this image will lend itself to surrealism or magical realism. And Americans prefer a magical red Indian or a shaman or a fake Indian in a red dress over a real native. The poem then touches on something about native identity. What threatens white people is often dismissed as myth. I have never been true in America. America is my myth. What is love in Postcolonial Love Poem? Some of the love in it sounds like longing. Love might be more than desire, but desire is there too. In Ode to the Beloved's hips there is desire. I am sin frenzied and full of teeth, for pear upon apple upon fig. And the Beloved's hips are the war. There's more hips later in the book, and more of what sounds like desire. God, she had me by the throat, by the hip bone, by the moon. God, she hurt me with my own horns. In the poem Waste and Sway, more love. How can I tell you, the amber of her, the body of honey, I took it in my hands. So what about postcolonial love in Postcolonial Love Poem? In the poem, That Which Cannot Be Stilled, there is the beloved occupier. In the book's notes, we find this term is from a Palestinian student who used it at the Palestinian Literary Festival, where Diaz was a guest. In the same poem, there is mention of a diagnosis where America is the condition. From the poem I, Minotaur. I know what it's like to be the appetite of your own appetite, citizen of what savages you. More from I, Minotaur, and maybe something about postcolonial love. I am your native, and this is my American labyrinth. The poem ends, Take my body and make of it a nation, a confession. Through you even I can be clean. In Postcolonial Love Poem, Natalie Diaz gives voice to existing as a native in an American labyrinth, an America of American myth, where myth and history might both be terrible, but where the mythology is still part of your mythology. An America where postcolonial love, no matter how difficult, complex, heartbreaking, and this might be the most painful part, is still love. Let's end with some of my favorite lines from the book. There is no such thing as time or June. What carries the hurt is never the wound. Trembling with the body of a snake before it left itself. My melancholy is hoofed.